stuff on my OBS. I want to get. I'm trying to see if I can get like the preview thing above and below rather than side by side, just so I can get a better view of both. But it does not seem to be the case. All right, let's see if this nerd decides to leave. Hey, he left. Cool. All right, let's open this. Make sure I'm actually streaming properly. Cool. All right, well, suppose it's whenever. If you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm in. So
Cool. All right, so turn 5 for me. Let's start with the ever-present weather. Nothing. All right, what do I want to do in rally? Do I even have rallies? We're going to go with... All right, cool. I've got... this guy will attempt to rally. Let's go with... Sick. That guy rallies. And that's it for my rally phase actions.
yeah, I'm still here. Just doing something.
Yeah, no worries. I always assume you're around, as like if you're not just like screaming to the mic or whatever, like I'm leaving for whatever, but otherwise, not an issue. And presumably, eventually, this will get more popular, so I'll be able to take time to look at the chat and ask him things or answer questions.
Okay, I think I just get the one rally at a +4.
In J6, yeah.
Nope.
At least it wasn't a casualty reduction.
Yep.
All right. If nothing else, then prep fire. Um.
When do the rally markers go away?
Oh.
The
Sorry.
markers.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Um. Uh, because I'm pretty sure this guy's first line, I'm gonna shoot at him with my guy in N10 just to put DM on him. That's 7 on 1.5. No, it's no way that does anything. Um, hmm. This stack is gonna shoot at or F1 is gonna shoot down at F8, so it's 6 up 2. 6 on 6, I think, is a normal morale.
1 MC.
1 MC. Yeah.
Oh, and this is my crapo leader.
Yep. Who has to go first?
So it's +2 for him, yeah?
No, because you don't. A leader doesn't apply their own modifier.
He will apply to everybody else if he doesn't
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, he breaks.
But the next guy only has the flat +1.
Correct. Oof. Alright, well, that was a good shot. Is there anybody else I want to shoot with? This guy's not broken. I'm going to have my stack in K1 is going to shoot at L8. So that's it's probably not going to do anything. 1, the plus. Yeah, no, that's just a miss. And
Shouldn't he get a DM?
yeah, he gets a DM. Any other shots? No, that's it. That's gonna be. And I'm. Is there any moves I want to do? I'm gonna have one squad, one partisan's gonna assault move into J2.
Okay.
And then this squad is going to dash into M2. So he's gonna go through L1 and into M2.
That's not the other side of the road.
I'm pretty sure that's still a legal dash, but let's double check. They're close. Move to a particular moon, then moves from a non-open ground location on one side of the road directly into the road, and then directly into a non on the other side. Versus location out of the LS. No, you know what? That does make sense with how we're translating it. So, all right, so cancel that. Instead, he'll just go to L2, and then normal move into continuing into M2.
All right, we'll fire on him.
Okay.
Right, so it's 3.
So 2 down 1 for non-assault movement, up 2 for the building. So with the flat +1.
So 2 plus 1.
Yeah. Yep.
And nothing as usual.
Is there anybody else on the move? Just for shits and giggles, L2 is going to assault move into M3 into the building.
Okay.
And that's it for moves.
We
And then?
Yeah, no, I actually have a fair bit. I'm thinking. J7 will fire at L10.
Okay.
Which is 8 halved for the concealment at +1, so
Yep.
4 plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
you have a question? Were you checking something?
No. He was good. Nice.
So that is what, a 4? That's 1 MC.
They are thick. And sniper. Damn. Man, sniper's been cold all game. It's crazy.
G9 will fire at, I think that's H10.
Okay.
So that's 3 plus 1. I don't know what I think we're firing down the hex line.
So olive groves act the same as orchards, so it's a +2 to the shot, 1 for the woods and 1 for hindrance from the olive grove.
Okay, so 2 plus 2.
Yep.
Nothing there. So what are the dead zone rules?
The dead zone rules?
Yeah, so if I'm up on a hill and I want to fire at somebody that's down on the ground, for example, from H7 to F1.
So the way I understand it is that for LOS, there's a certain, depending on your position, you effectively lose sight to like everything else. Let's see here. Because the way I understand it is that considering how close that you're not on the edge of a hill, you can't see past that hill. But obviously, there's a certain limitation because the hill itself, I believe, creates blind hexes. I'm just trying to see if I can find a good example of that.
Blind hexes, yeah, let's see.
Fires at the level indicated. Target is at ground level. Oh. So that's
No, actually, 10-2 is what we're actually worried about here.
B10-2.
A unit may trace an LOS to a lower level only if the higher unit traces its LOS through a crest line as it leaves its hex, and this LOS never recrosses another crest line. So
Yeah,
basically, if I'm not in the hex with the crest line, or I'm not on the hedge, the crest line isn't along the hex edge, then I can't see anything down below. So that's
yeah.
okay. Now that answers my question. Good. Well, not good really, but
Good to a degree. Yeah, it's
Am I
definitely.
correct in saying that C1 is on level 2?
Yes, or he's technically level 1.
Yeah, not level 0. He's up a level.
Yeah.
So I will fire at him instead.
Okay.
Exactly 6 hexes.
If it's with the squad, it's a 2 up 1 shot. Or yes, 2 up 1.
I am going to have the officer direct.
Okay.
So he's a good officer. So it's just a flat 2.
Oh, sorry. No, I was already calculating the leader because the building's +2, right? So with the leader, it's a -1.
And nothing.
Perfect.
Continuing my horrific tactics and dice rolling. All yours.
All right. Advanced fire phase. I do not care to shoot with anybody, so I'll go to route. Take prep. You take defensive fire off. So, this guy still technically doesn't have to route anywhere. These guys don't have to route because they're already in good terrain. I have to reread because I'm not sure if that counts or not. Should be a quick read. And
Does
this
he
guy doesn't have to move.
ceiling terrain?
So that's what I'm not sure because I don't recall it being concealment terrain. But I don't believe you have to route if you're not in open ground. So technically, he could stay there, but he could also move. Routing may not remain in the same open ground hex and blah blah blah. Yeah. So technically, that guy can stay there. So all of your guys can technically stay where they are, but it's more a choice of if you want to route them or not.
I only get interdiction fire if I'm in range of somebody, right?
In range and open ground. Well, so more specifically, it has to be that there's absolutely there can't be any positive modifiers to the shot. So let's say if L8 moved and he went to K8, well, for the experiment, we'll assume that K1 does not exist. He would be fine because N10, even if they could shoot there, then there's the hindrances apply, and that negates the shot. Same applies with Pure Rev. Even though Pure Rev could technically shoot at K8, because of the hindrance involved, it wouldn't. I can't interdict.
So I guess my question is then, but if I could I move to L7?
Um, does he see? Ooh, he does not. So L8 does not see N4. So
Does he see 5?
05? Yeah, it looks like a yes. I mean, you can draw it yourself if you want, but I'm at the max zoom, and it looks like it just touches the woods. Now, if even if he can't see it, or even if he can see it, that's 4 hexes. So I'll leave it up to your judgment on how close that is, because it kind of like do you draw a little bit on the right side of like when you draw LOS, it doesn't actually um, go to the middle of the hex. It's just from wherever you draw it, right? So you can kind of game it a little bit if you draw a little bit on the right or a little bit on the left. So um,
Yeah,
first,
no. The reason I'm thinking is I obviously I got to get him back to a leader, so I'm working on getting him over there. I don't think I could move from there up onto that hill hex at K7 without triggering something because I think I'd have a line of sight to somebody.
correct. There's if he goes into K8, he gets interdicted by K1. Well, actually, K1 is the only thing that's stopping him from anything, really. Okay, so. Because the tricky thing is that depending on how thick your. Because the other thing, too, which is kind of annoying for the game, is that if you draw LOS, like I'm drawing from N8 to N6, you can see that I'm displaying like a little green line, right? Thread is thicker than any like of these pixel lines that you can draw in the game. So when the game tells you to go by thread, like typical thread size, then it kind of messes with you. So if you think that the line of sight to from L8 to O5 is blocked, and the same applying to L8 to M3, then he can technically route to L7 and then route to K7 and not have an issue because he would get a +1 to any modifiers being shot at him for height advantage. And on top of that, this squad is only 3 range. So actually, he can't prevent a move into K7.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a gamey dick.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just.
no, no. All I'm saying is I'm giving you the option because it's however you thread it. So like personally, if we had real thread, I'd say it's close enough that I'd be fine with there being no LOS to those hexes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just for amusement, then if it's all right with you, I'm going to route into the brush and then up onto the hill.
Yep, it's perfectly fine. So to get here is 2, then 2 to get here. So technically, with because a broken unit always has 6, so he can get into that
Conscripts,
house.
right?
I'm sorry, what?
They're conscripts.
Yeah, but a broken unit doesn't care for uh, the movement factors, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yep, sure. Then sure, I'm not. I'm not going to complain to move him into the leader.
Uh, yeah, I don't see anything. Just as all other route provisions apply, route must still be towards nearest woods building X within 6 MF. Routing. All broken units, including conscripts other than wounded single man counters, have 6 movement factors for the route phase. So there you go.
All right. Well, yeah.
Perfect. I don't have any routes. If so, unless you want to move anybody else, we'll go into advanced phase. All right. Advanced phase. I'm gonna have a partisan squad there go into the upper level.
So there are 2 separate targets for shooting purposes, right?
Yeah. I'm also I'm gonna have the partisan squad is going to advance into the building in K2. It is 4. the leader's gonna go as well, and the stack here is gonna move into K1. And that'll be it. No CC. Allied turn 6.
All right, let's see what we got. I will use my 1 self rally on my poor bastards over here. So I think they're at +3. Technically, they're in concealing terrain.
I think you only get the bonus. So technically, you only get the bonus if you're in woods or a building hex for self rally. And
oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's concealing terrain, and it's not. It's the underlined. Okay, never mind. So yeah, +4. Nope.
So if it had succeeded, I wouldn't have corrected you. But when you self rally, you get a +1 for the self rally as well.
So another 5. So it was 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they completely failed to self rally. This poor squad here. They are in woods, so that's a -1. The leader gives them a -1, yes, and then a +4 for the desperation, so net +2.
Yeah.
Nope. And lastly, these poor schmucks. Leader, just a flat +4.
Yeah. And then, oh, damn. I was gonna say
What?
if you get those snake eyes.
Yep. No.
Heat of battle, they all go berserk.
Oh, I could only wish. All right, so next guy down, thankfully does not have the leader's presence, so just a flat +4.
No, he can't rally. That's the thing. Like,
oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I think all those desperation morales go away. Yeah.
Yep. And in case it changes anything, do you mind rolling weather?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. Oh, gusts! Yay!
Gusts. Okay, hold on.
Sadly, if it had any fires been around, that would have been cool. No effect.
I will do my best to set fires in future game.
Oh man, you have no idea how like awesome just setting stuff on fire is. I don't even think the kindling was not available for this this scenario, which was like a common problem back in the day. Apparently, there's a lot of scenarios that ended up getting rules, special rules to say don't you can't kindle. Right, does it do anything? Determine if blazes that will spread. No blazes. Any flame.
Why the hell am I not finding the weather rules?
So for gusts, it's in the fire location, I think. It's a B25 651. Sadly, it doesn't do anything for us. It would have done something to smoke if we had smoke. It'd do stuff to fire if we had fire. But sadly, we have neither. It's funny because this is just reminding me of when I was doing the Stalingrad campaign. There's a rule that exists. It's a joke rule, but it there's at least like text for it and everything. That basically it allows for lightning strikes in the game, and it does like super silly shit. Like let's say like lightning struck on like N4 or whatever. It could theoretically, like, the way that it's written is it could push a single man counter like 2 hexes away. So you just imagine like this leader just like barrel rolling through the sky as he's like just been hit by Thor himself. It's funny stuff. There's rules for like if he lands in a building hex or whatever, he's just like immediately eliminated. But the problem with it quote unquote, is that like you need to have overcast, the possibility of rain, and then you have to roll 11, and then after you roll 11, you have to roll an accuracy check from your sniper, and then that has to land on a hex with somebody in it, and then you roll for effect depending on what's in it and stuff.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. It is a lightning strike. I mean,
I mean, it's so convoluted that like everybody tells me like, "Oh, it's a joke rule." It's like, no, no, no. But I need this to exist. I want this to happen.
you have overcast. I will happily play with the lightning rule because I would die for about a minute if that actually popped somebody.
But
I kind of figure, depending on how far we get in these things, we're going to hit the corner cases at some point.
oh, for sure, for sure. But sadly, I think for now, yeah, Gus isn't gonna do anything.
That's good. That I will say that the dust from the olive grove blew into my leader's eyes and made him cry.
It's a moral victory.
Troops breathed a sigh of relief as they. Oh, here's a question. Broken troops can only move in the route phase, or can they move in the movement phase as well?
No, they can only move in the route phase, and only if they have DM.
Yep. No. All right. I see it.
Yeah, it's like the one weird thing. I think it's why you're allowed to voluntary break, because otherwise, you could just you can kind of just you're stuck. Like your broken guys are stuck.
Yeah. No worries. I mean, this is going to be a hilarious loss for me as it is. So
I don't want to say hilarious.
Oh no! I'm assuming the threat is just like, what the fuck is he doing?
Well, I mean, I'd have to post the videos. So far, they've only got snippets of the action where it's like there's less of a immediate effect on the moves.
I'm sorry. Do you have any? You don't have anybody to rally, do you?
No, no, no. If you're ever curious if there's broken units on the map, you can always click. There's a blue counter next to the unit counters. It's between the sniper and overlays. If you click on that, it shows you. It'll circle all the broken stuff.
Neat.
So just for future reference, because and I have a tendency to do this all the time. So if you want to change it, let me know. So uh, it says place a DM under any unit under DM and remove it at the end of every rally phase. Exception: a unit may opt to retain its DM status provided it is not in a woods, building, pillbox, trench, so as to guarantee its ability to route again in the next rally route phase. So if you remove it at a rally phase, you can't actually break. Like, there's nothing that you have in terms of ability to re-break that guy or put DM status on him. I did not
Okay.
realize
So,
that was the case.
actually, that's the case. If it's all right with you, I'll leave the DM marker on.
Oh yeah. Whichever guys you want to keep them on, just put them wherever.
The guys I'm all right with them. There's really no place they can go. I think. I think they could technically get into the building. Like that would be about the closest they could go. And
so if we're talking about F8, then they can easily route back into these axes.
No. I definitely want to leave it on F8. I'm sorry. I'm talking about P10 over here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the closest would be the building, but he can't route there because it's getting closer to this guy.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of it's pointless. The other broken unit actually stacked with the leader, so that's fine. I'm using woods. This guy really can't go anywhere. Like he can't go toward the east edge of the map, and he can't really go toward the west edge of the map. So yeah, he's fine where he is.
Yeah, like the only reason to keep DM on anybody would be P10, and only so that in case, let's say you had a desire to shoot O2 at M2, if that guy broke, then I think actually it might not be enough. Anyways, so it would just be for P10. Anybody else, I personally would take off.
Well, the thing is, I would like those guys to route back into the woods.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. We'll see. I mean, we're almost at the end of the scenario anyway.
Yeah. Check chat. No chat. Damn.
So it's time for the gamey ass suicide charges.
I mean, I would say you should have done that a lot earlier.
Yeah, I'm still getting a feel for how
If
like if it's any consolation to you, I really didn't pay that much attention to your forces until like maybe turn 2 or something. Like, oh, most of these things are probably not real.
I'm gonna hope that I don't do well against any unit you decide to go berserk with, just so that you have a better idea as to like how amazing berserk status is.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to hit him. And I'm kind of annoyed. There's actually no way for me to indicate. Wait a minute.
Which units are dare death or not?
How the hell did that guy break?
Which guy? Also, I haven't been able to see like which guy you're pointing out to, which has been weird because I don't know why.
I haven't actually. I've been kind of clicking around my own units. So here I have 2 broken units, and I'm not sure how the other unit broke. I don't think they didn't receive any fire.
Let's see here.
Well, conscripts definitely broke, so the guys at the bottom of the stack definitely broke. But
TM broken. Okay, hold on. So that's L7. No, that's J6. Okay.
J6. Sorry.
So yeah, I don't know because the way I'm seeing the moves as they were reported just says broken conscript squad DM moves from L7 to J6, and then broken 336 moves from 44J6 to 44J6. Then the DM just moved there. I mean, maybe I think he just did it by accident because I don't remember those guys breaking.
Yeah, I don't either. They're one of my good units, so that's why I was interested.
Did those guys break before? Whatever. Well, we can unbreak them. Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it without making sure that was okay with you. That's all I was.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't remember them fire. I don't know who would have fired at them, to be honest. And
I just can't remember if those guys were broken a previous turn, and then they rallied. I don't know. Yeah. Doesn't really. I don't matter.
No, we'll break them again. Sorry, actually. You know what? They probably broke when I was attacking that half squad. And was there a full squad on that stack as well? I can't remember.
Because I remember I took a shot with this guy there, and then he had to route. I just can't remember if he routed in a previous turn or not.
Yeah, I think he did. So I guess I probably should have rolled for him, but it's my fault. I forgot him, so no worries. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's begin the human wave assaults. G9 will fire at H10 again.
Okay.
So that's 6 halved at a +3, I believe. No, +2.
No, yeah, +2.
So 2 + 2. Nothing. U2 will fire at N10.
Okay.
So that's 2 + 1.
Yeah.
And nothing. That's on the support weapon. Well, it's actually on the stack as a whole, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Now it gets down and dirty.
Oh, those guys are definitely getting shot at.
The question is from where?
Right in front of them. So that's a 6 down 2. There's a +1 for the height advantage they have, but it's non-assault movement and the leader.
All right.
So 6 on 6 with a -2.
2 MC.
So 4 on 6. Yeah, 2 MC. And first fired. First hit
Equal
pins.
is a pin, right?
Yeah.
And he breaks.
And I leave 2 residual.
Alrighty.
Alright, gonna take a subsequent shot there. It's going to be a -3 on a 2 firepower shot. Oof.
Killed outright.
2 on a 2. So there's one will get casualty reduced, and everybody else takes a 1 morale check. So it's random selection for the casualty reduction. Doesn't matter because both squads are elite. But the other one, both will take a 1 morale check, I think. Let me double check that it's both.
Yeah, after the reduction.
Yeah. Casualty reduction eliminates and wounds, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I mean, do you care? Can I just casually reduce one of these
Of
guys?
whatever. I mean, the only reason for why you would want to roll random selection yourself um, is if you know if one of these squads is a dare death and the other is not, then obviously you would want a random selection so that um, you're not just you're not just picking the one that doesn't have the ability. That's about it.
So, question: What? How does the random selection work?
So essentially, what you do is so if we take we'll just take this broken stack, right? So let's say if I got a sniper on it, I would have to roll random selection to pick one of these four people. So to do it, you can roll any one die. It doesn't really matter, but there is a random selection die, so we'll just use that. So there's four people in that stack, and I'll just say top to bottom. So leader, first squad, second squad, third squad. So the leader and the squad both tie. Um, so they both have the effect added to them. So both effectively would have whatever that sniper does. So in this case, you'd roll random selection, and then the highest number is always the loser. If it's a
Well,
tie, it's both.
wow. All right,
Yeah.
that's kind of retarded. To forgive the slur, that's kind of idiotic.
Well, so it's just so that you're not like constantly rolling. Like obviously, at some point you would um, you'd get away from a tie, but
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, 1 to 3, 4 to 6. Like, how tough is that? I mean, it's not a, it's not a rocket science, and that seems to be overly penalizing me. I mean, particularly in this case, because I could theoretically have both of those squads go get casualty reductions if I tie on that.
well, so it's a because it's a 1 in 36 chance, right, of uh, double results of the. So I can see why they never bothered with more than that.
Okay, well, I got to do it. So
Oh,
all right,
actually,
top to bottom.
so sniper is
Yes.
different, but I think for the K result, it's that's how it works.
Yeah, no, that's okay. All right, top to bottom. So the bottom unit.
Yeah, random selection.
So they are what, reduced to a half squad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yep.
think I got that right. All right, and morale checks at a +1, top to bottom. Failed. Second one. This guy is Dare Death.
Yay. I mean, he still breaks.
Yeah. Are the Dare Death rules in the scenario you sent me? Where are they?
So the mention is in the special rules, but when it comes to Dare Death, it's G18.6. Um, so the way Dare Death works is that each armed good order infantry Dare Death squad or its surviving half squad that at the start of its movement phase is in or adjacent to a location containing an unpinned good order friendly personnel leader, and that is within 8 movement factors of an enemy ground unit and have LOS may go berserk voluntarily. So essentially, what it's saying is that um, your Dare Death squad can voluntarily go berserk in order to charge at an enemy, but you can't do it halfway through.
Just for future reference, this doesn't really affect us. There is essentially no way for me to indicate their death
So uh, the
because
only
I can't put a label on it because you can see the label.
so if I put a label on your broken guy in P10, say broken, you can see that label.
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing that I really hoped that because when you're playing with the physical counters, they have a letter on them, which is like it's perfect, right? So
Yeah, no,
the
I wanted you to know that that was
yeah,
So yeah, I wasn't planning on really using the dare death just because I had no way um, to indicate it. So
oh,
I
you
just
should have. I mean, you
I just
could.
yeah, I only have one guy, so this is it. And the thing is, there is a dare death like indication here. I'll do it on the guy that's off the board, but that just
Yeah,
marks him as berserk, which I think you can actually see.
yeah. So the only way around, unless you're like you're keeping track of it, the only way I would suggest is so pulling a berserk counter from the counter tray under unit and then infantry, and then you've got infantry, CC, human wave, and heat of battle, and prisoners. So if you were to take a berserk counter and then now you can't see it, right? So what you would do is you could hip it or hidden initial placement, and that way, like I could put it on whatever, and once it shows up, well, boom! Now this leader and his squad are berserk. That would be the only other way, unless the other thing you could do, it's a little bit more time consuming, would be let's say like I'll grab a stack and hit label and go A B. So now in this particular stack, I've got letter A, letter B. So what you would do is in your info, at the top of the Vaso controls where you find file tools help, there's a button called info, and on there you can have private notes. So you could say like squad A equals dare death. And then in notes we'll just say like dare death squads equals 15% OB. I'm going to hit save. So now if we go into, if I click into info again, um, when you click on info, you'll now see there's a note that says Dare Death Squads equals 15% OOB, but you won't see my private note that denotes which squad exactly.
Yeah, no,
Is.
I'm just saying it's awkward at best. I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to convince people in the ASL community that there should be um, a way to have unit codes. So at the very least, like you can just look and say like, oh, okay, you know, C and J. You can just like write that in the notes, and like it might not mean anything, right? And I don't know many people who check the notes anyways, but point being is that at least it's like a small thing that can help rather than it being a label that implies there's something on that unit.
Yeah, or just allow hidden labels. Like give me a little checkbox on the label
Yeah,
box that's hidden.
yeah. It's one of those like there should honestly be like either a hidden label or something. Which is why I guess the other thing you could do would be if you just grabbed a random. Um, let's say we'll just get a. Where's the blank ones? There's a couple blank chits that you can get. Just trying to see where they are. The one
Yeah,
time.
like the informational counters. I think the question mark.
No, so there's some blank counters out there, and you can put a label on it, right? So you can say like, oh, dare death or whatever. But the important part, at least in part, is that technically there's 3 lines on it, so you can write more stuff on it. And then if you hit that, you can have it to the side, and it's partially visible. Your opponent can't see it, yada yada. Um, so there's that. But yeah, sadly, there's no good way to represent like a hidden note that's you know
Are hip counters automatically revealed, or no? They have to be
no.
manually.
So hip counters are always invisible, and unless you allow somebody to have control over your counters, they won't be able to move it. And the other thing to also keep in mind is that uh, like I can delete your counter, sure, but I still don't. I still can never see a unit or a counter that's hit that was not hit by myself. It'll always disappear. So, for example, if you hit your counter with the A on it, I'm just gonna click off of it. Okay, so the moment you hit it, it disappeared, and I can't select anything. If Whenever this comes back on the stream, or if you ever check the video, like you'll see, I there's no way for me to select it. So theoretically, if I just selected the entire map and deleted everything, I would still not delete hip counters. So
Yep. No, I think that's probably the way to go forward. Is just drop a blank counter either on top of it or underneath it, and move them together as a unit.
yeah, and it's either that or like I said, you keep it to the side, and at least like you have a registry in a sense. So that if you do put labels on everybody, it still conceals the fact as to which ones are which. Um, it just gets a little, I guess, tedious depending on what your OOB is. Because if you're playing, like when I was playing the my Stalingrad campaign, you've got 150 friggin' squads running around. So that's like every squad has a label on it. So it's like if I'm trying to keep any hidden information, um, it's it's convoluted to a degree. So
No, I understand. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to digress there quite so much. I think that's. Make sure. I think that's it for my movement phase. Yep, all yours. Light me up.
all right. Well, they're already pretty much lit up, so it's not much. Considering there's only one more turn left. Well, 2 turns, I guess, technically, but. No. Advance fire. Well, what do you know? He's.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Sorry, I was looking on a different Discord server, and someone was streaming their own game.
Yeah, why not? H8 will fire at the top level of F1.
Okay.
So I believe that's 3 at a +1. So 2 + 1.
Yep. So actually, it'd be halved again, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure it's a 1 up 1. because they're concealed.
Who?
So, so the um. Oh, you know what?
F1.
Maybe I'm having twice.
F1. F1.
Yeah, you're shooting. Oh, sorry. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, not the concealed guys, the other guys.
Yeah.
So 2 plus 1. 6. PTC.
PTC Tashak barely passes. Let's take precision off.
Can J9 fire at K1?
J9 at K1. Yeah, that should be fine. Because
I mean, obviously, quartered at a +1.
Yeah. So it's
1.53, 4.5. So it'll be a. No, I'm sorry. Quartered. Jesus.
it's two up one.
1. Yeah. Nothing. I'm pretty sure that's everybody. So.
Okay. Now the fun begins with route phase. Let's take the prep fires off. And my final fire. This guy has a super simple rally. He can just go there. The only problem going there is you overstack, but it's not an issue. It doesn't prevent the route. It's just that they would end up doing that.
Can I route back to the third, or have to route into those woods?
So you have to go to the nearest one. So technically, because that's the closest and nothing negates it, I think you have to pick that one. And it doesn't connect to anything else, so you can't go further. Let me just
that
double
guy's just gonna back one up to what is it? H10, H8, I think.
Yeah. Let me just see if it allows for continuing. Direction.
I'm sorry, are you waiting for me, or are you looking stuff up?
No, I mean you can keep going. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that says that it is allowed to continue, and I think the ruling is that it can't, because it's not a continuous woods. So if there was a woods in J was it 8? Yeah, J8, then it could follow the woods and keep going, but because there isn't, it has to it just stops there.
Excuse me, I grabbed your leader and counter in that, and that's
No worries.
an accident.
No worries.
So they're marked as moved, but they haven't, obviously.
Oh, that's... Yeah. Boom.
Okay, I think that's everybody.
Perfect. Advanced phase. That's a bold move.
Well, at this point, what the hell do I have to lose?
2 squats. Well, 3 squats.
I've already lost the elites. Let's see if the conscripts can do worse. Close combat.
None.
So over to you.
Hooray! Win! Damn. Rallies. I have nothing broken.
I do have people stacked with leaders. So I'm sorry, I'm having a blank moment. Does the leader DM apply? It applies to other squads, but not to the leader, right?
Correct.
So
Leader.
these guys are,
And it's only itself. So if you had 2 leaders, then 1 leader could try to, fix the other leader.
but these guys are rolling at a +3.
Most everybody will be at a +4. Just
No, I have squad stacked with a -1 leader. So
yeah, the guy in H8, yeah. Actually, he would be at a minus at a +2 overall in H8 because the Woods is a -1 as well.
Oh, right, +2. Okay, so the top squad fails, and the conscripts fail. Jesus.
Yeah, it's harsh.
It is what it is. All right, my crap ass leader fails horribly. I think that's it. Oh no, I haven't stack yet. I don't know. Sorry. Let's see. It's also -1. They're in woods, so +2. The broken squad. 6 fails. Fails! Damn it. All right. That's it for me. Oh, did you roll weather?
Yeah. Did you want to take any of the DMs off, or I'll give you time for that. I'll put it over to prep fire, but I won't shoot till... Alright. Oh, also that pin goes away. There.
Yes, I was just going to ask. Thank you. Okay. All yours. Light me up again.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. So this guy will shoot there. So it's just a 6 flat because there's a +1 from the modifier and a -1 for my leader. So 5 on 6. 1 MC.
Top to button. Fail. Fail and fail.
Yep, that's it. Do I have any moves? Nope. Defensive fire.
O2 fires at N10.
Okay.
So 3 plus 1. So 2 plus 1.
Yeah.
An MC.
Morale check. Oh, pins.
What is the effective overstack?
So technically, with an overstack, you get a additional -1 for every squad over the overstack limit. Um, so if this guy had shot there, instead of a +1 conferred to everybody from the woods, it'd actually be a -1, I believe.
But there's no effect for me aside from having a lot of troops in the hex.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. You get a +1 to your shot. So there's an automatic one you add to your roll. It's A5.12. Fractions rounded up. Okay, so actually it'd be that's I guess they had to do something for half squads, but that's crazy.
So they're at a net +2. Yeah.
So any shot that they make gets an automatic +2 before anything else.
Okay, I will just have H8 fire at F1 again. Top floor, support weapon, and the infantry squad.
Okay.
So 6 at a +1.
Yeah. It's a pin test check, I think.
ATC.
And pins.
Sorry, I forgot we were in defensive fire.
Yeah, no worries.
This stack will fire at the house. So I'm sorry. It is J5 will fire at M3, which I think is a net +4.
So J5 to the house is just I believe it's just a +2.
We got +2, and I'm crossing a wall hex side, right?
Yeah, but the wall doesn't apply if you're in the building, I believe. Because you can't, technically can't get both.
6 at a +2 then. So 7.
One Mirage?
NMC.
Oh, no, NMC. Okay. Whew. I did something to get all these good rolls like consistently. This will not.
Yeah.
This will not last into the next scenario.
You're going to annihilate me again. It's all right.
I mean, you say that, but
All right. The officer can't fire this machine gun himself.
So technically, I believe he could, but he doesn't have possession of it at the moment. Which would
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. Right. I'm not too. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Routes, I have none. I think
I believe this whole. I think what is it? H9 needs to route backwards.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of how this would work. So overstacking also causes like an increase in the overall cost of getting into a hex. So for every squad equivalent over, you add I think one per thing. Um, so I think I think technically you can have every squad get in there before there's a requirement to go here or here for shortest length. Although I don't think you can actually get here because one overstack and two those guys can see him. So, yeah, he can either the routing hex is either here for like the first two, maybe all three, and then it would have to be this I think, or technically this as well. But I mean, for the sake of brevity, yeah, just route him south and south one, and it should be fine.
I think it's everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Advanced phase. Just gonna make it simple. Not gonna advance anybody. CC phase, no CC. Last allied turn.
Lordy.
Well, I mean, if you want to call it, because I mean, depend if you want to get some practice in on other stuff or whatever, or if you want to call it, it's your choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to surrender at this point. I'm not going to. There's nothing I'm going to be capturing. I mean, I guess I could technically move into one more building hex, but then I have a feeling you would just kick me out immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering you need 7 and you've got 2, but the other 5 you wouldn't be able to get.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I'm pretty sure it's not possible at this point. At best, I would be trying to kill some more of your guys, and I think I'm nowhere near that as well.
Well, so the thing is that for the victory condition, um, it's no longer about CVP after
Yeah, it's
turn
okay.
5.
Buildings. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm willing to call it if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I apologize to the viewers and to the people on the thread for fucking horribly.
I don't think they're. I don't care what the hell their opinion is on that.
Oh,
That's for sure.
I mean, they can go fuck themselves for all I care. But I mean, for literally my first actual game of ASL, I'm reasonably.
Whatever. They'll be. That's why it's a good thing in my opinion that we're starting with the 1908 stuff. Well, the next scenario is 3 years later, but I think it's a good idea just because it's like it's technically even less technology to have to deal with, so it's a little easier to ease into it. Um, uh, I think I had more critical voiced opinions on your play in the first video, just because there's not much I really want to say while you're able to actually listen. Video's not up. That'll probably come after I finalize this one. But the only thing I would suggest or make mention is it's okay to sacrifice some units if it gains you a better position. If possible, try not to move. So take into consideration why exactly you're moving a unit somewhere. In the sense that, like, even though the game was long over, when you moved your stack from G6 to H9, so if you move 2 conscripts together, you risk losing both. But if you move one,
Yeah. Oh, believe me. I honestly,
Yeah.
I was pretty. This game was pretty much over from probably turn 4 or 5 at the most.
yeah,
No, the plan or the limited plan that I had. I'm not even trying to call it a plan. Was poor and horribly executed to begin with. My units were way too spread out. I was not taking advantage of the cover that I did have. I completely misunderstood the use of the the I don't know what you mean, the decoy counters. I guess that's, I forget what
Oh, right. Yeah.
I completely botched the use of those. Like none
Mhm.
of those were actually decoys; they were all sitting on top of my units. So yeah, that was something that I jacked up right at the beginning, and I think it pretty much screwed me across the board.
Yeah. Like, so,
Yeah, no, that whole thing was pretty much a learning experience from the word go. And honestly, after the first couple turns, I was like, okay, this is not going to go well. I needed to be much more aggressive, and I probably should have pushed most of my elites right up the middle and used the conscripts to screen on the sides. I
or at the very least, you can always do like a one concerted push somewhere. Um,
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the push up the middle should have been with the elites backed up with the LMGs. They should have been up at the front. Um,
but
and I should have put more of the
so,
SMG rules
so I
with
guess
maybe a conscripts ahead of me.
so I guess my point is that even um, the the elites don't have to go up the middle. I guess is my point. Um, you can have them go up. You can have them plus conscripts go up an entire side. The other thing to keep in mind, I mean, as if this was legitimately your first game, then I would never expect you to um, know the ins and outs of dare death squads. But as a since it will come up in the next scenario, or at least presumably, anyways, um, the one thing I would suggest is that uh, dare death is a very useful tool because it under normal circumstances, if you berserk a unit, or if a unit goes berserk, I should say, um, it only goes away if it kills a unit, right? So you always have that liability of that unit will at some point decide to just run away and die against somebody. But by having the ones that you can toggle, it's only for that turn that they become berserk, and because they get the charge and they technically have to go first, you can have that 10 morale soak up a lot of shots. So let's say, for example, you had some dare squads in F8, right? And you want to get into E1. So you got your hefty dare death guys. They've got they got 10 morale. Um, just mark this guy's berserk. So you got 10 morale, right? If I go and you got 8 movement factors, so you can easily make it into F1, no problem. So it costs you 2 to get into F9. Okay. Do I want to shoot 2 firepower? Even like there's still a +1 for the ground, and it's not open ground. So I would not shoot with anybody in that hex. You move up again. Okay, now I've got in this example, because my guys are split, I can't actually fire group these 2 guys. So at most I could take 2 shots individually. So okay.
Why can't you fire group?
So
Are
partisans can't do multi-location fire groups. So, so because they're in 2 separate locations, they wouldn't be able to. Unless the rule is for partisans is hex, I don't think it's multi-hex. I think it's multi-location. Regardless, if these 2 squads can't shoot together, so now I've got 2 6 firepower shots instead of 1 12, which is not that great. Um, so, for example, 6 firepower, it's a -2 because it's open ground and non-assault movement. So I take a roll. Okay, 4. That's a really good roll. So um, we'll play it as is. It's not helping my case, but so I get a KIA, which sucks.
No, I see where you're going with it. I no, I understand. Believe me, the main issue I have with that is I'm not. They're very limited usefulness. I feel like because it's literally only 1 squad.
So the dare death is
Some of the squads, which is 1.
it's fractions rounded up, I believe. Let me double check here.
1. Because they can only be the elites, and I think I only have like 6 elites or 5 elites.
So that's the other thing to keep in mind is only elites may be designated as dare death. However, the rule for dare death is that you may designate up to 10% fractions rounded up of the squads in your scenario OB. So what both rules are saying is that if you start with, how many did you have? So you had
So
18.
okay, then I read that completely wrong
Or
because the
22.
way I read that was it was 10% of the squads that could become their death.
No, yeah. So that's the problem is that you had 22 squads, so it was 10% of the 22. Then you fraction round up,
Okay.
and
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, then I totally misread that. Then that was
right.
my fault on that part. Yeah, I thought I only had one squad. I was like, yeah, okay, that's
Gotcha. Yeah, and so like if we continue with a thought experiment, like okay, so um, if this guy's berserk, sure. Let's say you have a two, whatever. Okay, so if I roll a one MC on your guy, you roll eight, it's nine. Even on a 10, he doesn't pin, so you still go. So next move, you're into this hex. Now I have to shoot with the guy on the ground floor. That's I cannot choose to not shoot. So if I roll again, that pins me. Or sorry, it pins, not breaks. But so that pins me, which immediately makes me worse in the close combat, and he can't shoot anymore. Now, if I want, I can shoot with some other guys. Sure, that's always possible. But the thing to keep in mind is that um, this guy can't shoot anymore because he's pinned. And if I took any shots with anybody else, those guys can't shoot at anybody now because the other rule kind of gets overlooked sometimes. It's a little kind of, I want to say wishy-washy, but um, one of the quote unquote principles of defensive fire is that if if my guy in G2 shoots at F10, he now cannot shoot at a target that's further than that initial hex. It's impossible. He can only shoot at equal, equidistant, or closer hexes. So as soon as you draw out a shot from a squad, that opens up movement options for anybody else. So now if you had, this guy gets his berserk, he's in this building, cool. Now if you have a second elite, a second dare death guy, now he can choose to go to, like, this is 3 hexes. He can go into that same building. He can go into these woods if he chooses that as his destination. Now you have to have a leader and whatever. There's a couple extra things and exceptions and yada yada. But the point is that when you have the dare death squads, and even when you have garbage units like conscripts, if you can get those cheap units to run up and soak up damage, it allows everybody else to move up. And then I have to, and when I'm spread out like this, right? If you have a strong punch on the right side, I have to move everybody on the left. And so let's say the sides are equally split right now, right, in terms of units. But let's say everybody on the left and everybody on the right is concealed. If you have like 18 dudes on this side, right, and one tiny jerk in this middle sector, I can't cross this railroad without dropping concealment. And then I have to fight dice roll after dice roll to try and regain concealment so that I can defend properly. I mean, just examples, but
yeah. No, I mean, look, I'm not gonna. My performance was poor at best, and there was a lot to learn. But
we can try not to dwell on it too much.
This literally was my first game of ASL, so yeah, I'm fine. It's a learning experience, as I say. I fully expect to be getting better as we go along and learning kind of the ins and outs of the rules and things like that.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in this first one, kind of looking up rules and reading through things. So we'll see how much sticks for the next go. But yeah, no, I had a good time. I'm not disheartened or anything by it. I kind of expected to do crappily. So yeah, this was about what I expected, and yeah, I learned some stuff, and yeah, we'll try some new stuff later.
Perfect. So I guess before you know what, I'll say goodbye to the stream so that we can do the rest of the admin stuff.